Hello, my name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Well, now we've had a lot of fun over the last several videos, and we're going to have more fun today because we're going to look at consciousness, not the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. A little bit, not a lot. So usually, and I just saw another YouTube presentation today about using an iceberg as a metaphor for the conscious and subconscious mind. And I thought we would explore that in a little different light, recognizing that the conscious mind is what we know, that we're aware of, we're conscious of. And the subconscious mind is where we store all of our memories, all of our experiences, all of our beliefs, a whole bunch of stuff like that. I'm going to look at the model of the iceberg, and we're going to pick it apart a little bit and see if we can find another way of explaining the conscious and the subconscious mind. So we'll see what happens. Now this is kind of like an introduction, and if you've looked at my other videos, in a moment we're going to change the scene and start our discussion around the conscious and subconscious minds. So stick around, and in a moment we'll be back to talk about that subject. Oh, also, at the end of the video, a lot of times I forget. That's why I put the trailer on the end. I forget to remind you to subscribe below, hit the like button, and if you have any questions or comments, put them down there, and we'll see if we can come up with an answer that will satisfy your concerns. So, in a moment, I'll see you again. That's my signal, how to do my editing. So, there's going to be something different coming up in a moment. Well, we're back. And it didn't take long on the video, but it took me about a half an hour to go through this and write this up. Now, what we're talking about, our discussion today, is a metaphor. The iceberg, now this is the iceberg, and the sea. And here is the waterline across the iceberg. Now, what's the metaphor? Conscious and subconscious mind. Sub, in this case, being below the waterline, and conscious being above the waterline. What we know, what we're aware of, what we're conscious of, and what we don't know. Now, let me stress that again. What we know, above we see, conscious, and below the waterline, on unknown. You'll hear me emphasize that again. So I'll say it again. Unknown. Now, let us go on. In the iceberg, scientifically, if you got fresh water, ice, and you got salt water, sea, you're going to have about 90% of the total iceberg under the waterline, and about 10% on top. And so this makes kind of a metaphor, because we are aware of about 95% consciousness, and the unknown, which we call subconscious, and everything related to that, is about 95%. That's how you go through your life. You think you know everything. No, you're only operating at a conscious level at about 5% of everything that you're doing. Fantastic. This part down here that we're looking at, that we're using as a metaphor, has a lot of stuff in it. And that stuff is related to, below the waterline, okay, what we call precognition. Precognition, which means it's getting ready. It's getting ready from what's below to express itself into the conscious mind and make you aware. Like when there's danger, or when there's other things, or just when you're thinking a thought or you get triggered, you will get precognition or pre-awareness. Something's going on, and then it bubbles up just like little bubbles. And then the conscious mind is made aware. Without that, the conscious mind don't know. So now the subconscious mind, an interesting place that nobody knows. Nobody knows where the subconscious is. That's why we have a metaphor to give us an idea, and we say it's sub, which means below. It usually means below. Sub means below. But there is no below. Now that might be our first insight that we're going to see things differently. There is no waterline that the subconscious is below. Not in a physical way. So the subconscious, which we call below the conscious mind, is all over. It's all over. It's all over everything. Why? The subconscious mind has in it all your memories. Well, you might have known that. They're not conscious. A lot of your memories aren't conscious. You get triggered, and maybe I'll trigger you, and you'll think of an old memory. Before you thought of it, where was it stored? Let's think about that a minute. An old memory, like your first girlfriend or boyfriend, your first grade school in kindergarten teacher's name. There's all kinds of old memories that we have, and the older you get, the older the memories get. But in certain conditions, you can remember, because you're triggered, and I'm triggering you now. I want you to remember being in kindergarten, what it was like. Now, when I was in kindergarten, at a certain time of the day, you had to rest. You had to put your head on the table if you were on a table. When I was there, there was big window seats in the kindergarten room, and if you were quick enough, you could get to the window seats, and they were like little benches, and you could lay down and be comfortable. I remember that. That's a long time ago. As you can tell, I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but I still remember them. So there's some place. In memories, we have a lot of them. For instance, you may have noticed that I pick up my teacup. How I pick the teacup up and shift the weight and move it, because I'm going to take a drink, and move it to my lips and put it down. Every minute detail in doing that process is related to a memory I learned before the age of 3. How you, if you're sitting down, how you stand up, how you shift your weight, what muscles you use to do that. All memories. If you're standing up and sit down, it takes hundreds of memories. When I point my fingers, how I do that and how I can do that is related to things I learned before the age of 3 that I'm still using today. Those are memories. See, most of us think all our memories, our only memories are, well, my first date, my graduation from high school, my first sexual experience. Those are your memories. But how you did those also have memories within them. You don't recognize you have trillions of memories. And you're making more right now watching this video. They're stored in the subconscious. We've never been able to find where that is. Trillions of memories stored. Never found them in the brain. A lot of theories. And they have done some stuff. They can't find trillions of memories. They haven't even found one. Now they found effects in the brain of memories. Effects, but what do I mean? Well, they do an MRI and they have you think of a memory and you can see the neural pathways laid up and you say, oh, there's memory. It's not the memory. It is an effect of thinking of the memory. Correlation, because you were thinking about a memory, does not mean causation. You never saw a memory. You saw its effect. Oh, but we think it's the memory. And if you found one, where are the trillions that you have? Oh, we haven't found them. From your memories, you make beliefs. When you have certain memories around certain things, like I like tea, so I drink a lot of tea, and that tea there's a certain belief that makes me feel good, it makes me regular, it makes me all kinds of stuff, because we have beliefs based upon this. If it's difficult for you to get up in the morning, you're going to have memories that are going to coalesce into beliefs. Oh, I can't get up. It's just nature. It's just, well, it is a habit because it's in the subconscious mind. But we don't know where that is. And so the subconscious mind is the storage place for your memories, your beliefs, your past experiences. It's the storehouse. Nobody knows where it is. Nobody knows how to get there. The closest that anybody has come is through hypnosis. Beginning to understand how the subconscious mind works. But, you can't believe in hypnosis. Does it work? Oh, don't know. Well, that's one of the things you don't know. It's not a pure known, unknown. So now, in most cases, they will come up with a unconscious part of this below the waterline. Unconscious, as separate from subconscious. Why they did that, I don't know. But in some people and in some theories, there is a unconscious, which is, see, it's really turned around because they think this is a higher consciousness, but we show it below the subconscious. Nobody knows where that is either. There's some theories from some people. Nobody knows where it is. So in this model, the iceberg and the sea, or the conscious and the subconscious is the slowest and smallest. All of this stuff. But it's all we know. Is what we know. Now, we have all these other things over here, and people have written books on all of these. They've written a lot of books, how it's set up, and how it's subdivided, and subdivided, and subdivided again, and we break this down, we break this down, we break this down, and we break all this stuff down here. Then what's the point? Unknown. See, we forget that it's unknown because we want to know. We develop certain theories to make the unknown known. We know what's known because we're consciously aware of it. The unknown. What's another name for the unknown? Because everything is here. All your memories, how they're tied together, how you interact with other people. You do recall we're all interconnected. You'll get that in some of the other videos. We're all interconnected. Now, I want to suggest, now, after going through this and looking at the metaphor in relationship to the conscious mind, the known and the unknown. So now I'm going to change it. I'm going to make it the way it really is. So to do that, I have to take an eraser. Why? Because the metaphor isn't right. The iceberg is not a good metaphor. You know why? This is unknown. There is no iceberg. This is known. This over here is unknown. Unknown. This is unknown. Below the waterline is unknown. We don't know where the subconscious mind is. We don't know where our memories are stored. We don't have any idea what this precognition is. There's nothing we know below what I'm calling the waterline in this metaphor. There is nothing there that you are scientifically aware of. So what is it? What is all of this that is unknown? That makes all of this happen? That makes all of this known? That we have awareness? We should go back and look at some of the other videos. This is all unknown. This conscious mind is such a frail, small part of us. And yet we think it tells us all and is interconnected to all of this down here. It's interconnected and it has something to do with making it work. Yeah, it doesn't. What's below the conscious mind is unknown. And so we're conscious. And what is this vast unknown? This vast unknown that we keep picking at. We keep poking. It's like when you have, you have a big, maybe they're not that big, maybe they're small, like this, a big bee's nest, and you keep poking at it. Or a bear that's hibernating, and you see a bear in his cave, and you say, I wonder if it's alive or not. Let's just poke at it. And pretty soon, it awakens. Now, that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the awakening. They call it enlightenment. Or other stuff. But we don't know what it is. Another name for this, first of all, it's infinite, because it's really big. I got to spell it right. That'll be infinite. Infinite. And if you looked at the last 3 videos, this is also called the all. The all. This is just, they're right, it's a tip of the iceberg. But the iceberg is much, much more than we can understand. This is what we know. Not much. Everything else is unknown. And we keep coming up with these ideas of how this all operates down here. And then this leads us right in to the hard question of science. This is conscious because we're aware of it. And so a lot of people say, well, that and it's all in the brain and everything. And since it's conscious, we use another term, consciousness. Consciousness comes out of the sophistication of this little part up here. Well, what I'm going to suggest is that this part below the waterline, this unknown part that we struggle trying to find even one memory, is the all and consciousness. That's the whole thing. And we go crazy because we don't understand this at all, but we got all these theories about how it is and what it is. So when you find where you store your memories, you will come close, or at least you'll be on the right track for finding what consciousness is. Now we know it's infinite. All this unknown is infinite, which means it's up here too. Which means it's up here. You can't divide infinity. It's omnipresent. You can't go and take something from infinity and put it over here, because when you get over there, I should show you. I was doing it this way. And you put it over there, infinity's there too. So you can't put it. You can't take it out of infinity and find a hole where there's not infinity and put it back in. You can't do that. So you have to look at what you know, which is this. And you're trying with the conscious mind, the smallest part of this whole process, and understand the infinity of the all. Good luck with that. So, with that, that gives us something to think about. This metaphor of the iceberg is not complete because it's not right. It's not complete because it doesn't tell you anything about the unknown. No matter how you try to rationalize through the conscious mind. See, the conscious mind is where your rationalization comes from. You're not going to be able to explain the unconscious, the subconscious, the infinite consciousness, the all. So while you think about that, oh, I know I'm going to upset a lot of people because they so want to know this with the conscious mind. You're not going to do it. So what do you need to do? Accept what is. And live with what is. What an interesting concept. So, next time we get together, oh, I know this was pretty deep. And I know you wanted to have a metaphor that answered your question. Maybe next time. And so, be good to yourself. Don't let this bother you too much. Because we're still, don't forget, we're living in an illusion. And we so want to have it real. But it's still an illusion. So, we'll get together next time. And, you know, there's not a lot of people that are concerned about what I'm talking about here. Because this is where they're going to live, this is where they're going to survive, this is where they're going to make their money, this is where they're going to have their girlfriends and boyfriends and family. It's up here. They don't have it down here. But down here is their connection with who you really are. Oh, and that is something to think about. So you think about that until we get together on the next video. Bye now.